For millions of years, Earth created an incredible diversity of life, but in just a few centuries, humans have erased entire species from existence. This is not natural evolution. This is extinction caused by us. Welcome to Green Earth VN, where we explore environmental truths to protect life on our planet. Today, SVDIA reveals the top 10 species that went extinct because of humans. Names that will never walk, fly, or swim on Earth again. Dodo. Native to the island of Mauritius, this flightless bird had evolved without natural predators, making it unafraid of humans. When sailors arrived in the 16th century, they found an easy source of food. The dodo, unable to fly and with no instinct to flee, was hunted relentlessly. But direct hunting wasn't the only threat. The sailors brought with them invasive species like pigs, rats, and monkeys, which escaped the ships and thrived on the island. These new animals destroyed the dodo's ground-level nests, eating their eggs and outcompeting them for food. Within less than a century of its discovery, the dodo was completely gone. The dodo became the world's most famous symbol of human-caused extinction. 9. The Tasmanian tiger, or This remarkable carnivorous marsupial was the apex predator of Tasmania and mainland Australia. With its dog-like head and striped back, it was a unique creature. However, when European settlers arrived, they saw the thylacine as a threat to their sheep and other livestock. A massive campaign to eradicate the species began, with bounties offered for every animal killed. This relentless hunting, combined with habitat loss and disease, pushed the species to the brink. The last known individual, a male named Benjamin, died alone in captivity at the Hobart Zoo in 19... A species wiped out because of fear and misunderstanding. 8. Steller's sea cow. Discovered in 1741 in the Bering Sea by naturalist Georg Steller, this massive marine mammal was a gentle giant, related to the manatee. It could grow up to 30 feet long and weigh as much as 10 tons. It lived in shallow coastal waters, feeding on kelp. Unfortunately for the sea cow, its discovery coincided with the peak of the maritime fur trade. Sailors and hunters quickly realized that this slow-moving, docile creature was an easy target, providing enormous quantities of meat, fat, and oil. The hunting was so intense and unregulated that the entire species was eliminated in just 27 years after its initial discovery. Human greed can erase even the largest creatures. 7. The passenger pigeon. It is almost impossible to imagine, but the passenger pigeon was once the most abundant bird in North America, and possibly the world. Their population was estimated to be in the billions. They flew in flocks so vast that they would darken the sky for hours, even days, as they passed overhead. But their sheer numbers made them seem like an inexhaustible resource. They were hunted on an industrial scale for cheap meat. Their nesting colonies were destroyed, and widespread deforestation eliminated their habitat. The decline was catastrophic and swift. The last wild passenger pigeon was shot in 1901. The final member of the species, a bird named Martha, died in the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914 from bleeding. 6. The Bali tiger. The smallest of all tiger subspecies, the Bali tiger was native exclusively to the small Indonesian island of Bali. It was celebrated in local folklore and art for its majestic beauty. However, with the arrival of European colonists, its fate was sealed. The tiger was hunted for sport and persecuted as a pest. As the human population on the island grew, the tiger's forest habitat was cleared for agriculture and settlements, squeezing the remaining population into smaller and smaller areas. The last confirmed Bali tiger was shot in 1937. Beauty was not enough to save it. 5. The western black rhinoceros. A subspecies of the black rhino, this magnificent creature once roamed across the savannas of Central and West Africa. For centuries, it was a powerful symbol of the African wilderness. But in the 20th century, it became the target of a brutal wave of poaching. The rhino's horn, made of keratin, the same material as human fingernails, became incredibly valuable on the black market, particularly for use in traditional medicine and as ornamental dagger handles. Despite conservation warnings and efforts starting in the 1980s, the protection came too late and was not enough to stop the illegal trade. The last western black rhino was seen in 2006, and the subspecies was officially declared extinct in 2011. Extinction can still happen, even in modern times. For the Carolina parakeet, this vibrant, green, yellow, and orange bird was the only parrot species native to the eastern United States. They were once common, living in old-growth forests along rivers from the Ohio Valley to the Gulf of Mexico. Their downfall was caused by multiple human pressures. Farmers considered them pests because they fed on crops. Their colorful feathers were highly prized for decorating women's hats, leading to widespread hunting. Additionally, the destruction of the old-growth forests they depended on for nesting and food sealed their fate. Tragically, these birds had a habit of flocking around their injured or dying comrades, which made it easy for hunters to kill entire flocks at once. Even common species are not safe. 3. The aurochs. This was a massive species of wild cattle that is the ancestor of all modern domestic cattle. Aurochs were giants, standing over 6 feet tall at the shoulder, with long, formidable horns. They ranged across Europe, Asia, and North Africa. For millennia they were a primary target for human hunters, providing a significant source of meat. As human civilization expanded and agriculture grew, the aurochs' forest and wetland habitats were cleared. They were overhunted to the point of extinction across most of their range. The last remaining herd survived in the Jack Toro forest in Poland, but even with royal protection, the population dwindled. The last individual, a female, died in 1627. Domestication could not save its wild origins. To the Pinta Island giant tortoise, a unique subspecies of the Galapagos tortoise. This animal was found only on the small island of Pinta. Like many species in the Galapagos, it had evolved in isolation for thousands of years. In the 19th and 20th centuries, whalers and sailors hunted the tortoises for food and introduced goats to the island, which decimated the native vegetation that tortoises relied on. By the mid-20th century, the species was thought to be extinct. Then, in 1971, a single male was discovered. He was named Lonesome George and became a powerful symbol for conservation. For decades, scientists searched for a female and attempted to breed him with related subspecies, but all efforts failed. George died in 2012. When George died, an entire species disappeared forever. 1. The Woolly Mammoth. These iconic giants of the Ice Age roamed across the vast, cold steppes of the northern hemisphere. They were perfectly adapted to their environment with their thick, shaggy coats and long, curved tusks used to clear snow and defend against predators. Early humans were one of those predators. Archaeological evidence, such as cave paintings and bone piles, shows that our ancestors hunted mammoths extensively for their meat, hides, and bones. While the changing climate at the end of the last ice age put immense pressure on the mammoth population by altering their habitat, the added stress of persistent human hunting is now believed by many scientists to be the final blow that pushed them over the edge. The last isolated populations vanished from the Earth around 4,000 years ago. Even giants could not survive human expansion. Extinction is not just the loss of an animal. It is the permanent collapse of a piece of Earth's living system. Today, thousands of species are heading toward the same fate. We see it in the shrinking populations of polar bears as the ice melts, in the Sumatran rhinos, with fewer than 80 individuals left, and in the monarch butterflies, whose migration is threatened by habitat loss. We cannot bring back the species we lost. The dodo, the thylacine, and the woolly mammoth are gone forever. But we can stop this list from growing longer. We have the power to make a different choice for the species that are still here. We must act now to protect natural habitats, the forests, oceans, and wetlands that are the foundation of life. We must reject products made from endangered wildlife and refuse to support the illegal trade that drives poaching. We can support conservation organizations on the front lines, working to save species from the brink. And most importantly, we must share this knowledge and raise our voices for those who cannot speak for themselves. Which species do you think might be next if we do nothing? Leave a comment, share this video, and subscribe to Green Earth VN, because protecting life means protecting our future.